Welcome to Psychic Station. There is a truth we must face. The world we live in is constantly shifting, but so often, it feels like we're stuck in an endless cycle of shallow distractions, all engineered to keep us from seeing what's truly important. What's been created around us isn't just a society. It's a carefully constructed reality designed to keep us numb, to keep us indifferent. How many of us have gone through life with the constant sensation of something missing, but couldn't quite put our finger on it? There's a reason for that. Society, in its pursuit of convenience and profit, has left us disconnected from the very essence of our being. And it's no accident. Emotional disconnection is rampant. We're taught to live in the moment. But the truth is, we're too often trapped in a moment that isn't even ours to begin with. Have you ever felt like you're just moving through the motions, living a life dictated by someone else's expectations? That feeling, that nagging sense of emptiness, is the result of being taught to abandon our inner compass. We're pushed to focus on external achievements, on validation from others, while our real needs, emotional fulfillment, authenticity, are put on the back burner. It's no wonder so many people feel like they're walking around in a haze, disconnected not just from others, but from themselves. And that brings us to the question, what happened to self-awareness? What happened to living a life true to ourselves? The world is obsessed with instant gratification, likes, followers, material success. But none of these things bring lasting peace or fulfillment. Instead, they pull us away from the deeper, often uncomfortable work of truly understanding who we are and what we want. We've been sold the lie that happiness comes from the things we own or the image we present to others. But at what cost? We're surrounded by social media, which bombards us with pictures of idealized lives, and we end up chasing someone else's version of happiness instead of seeking our own truth. We're told to look outside ourselves for answers, whether it's in a product, a trend, or the opinion of a stranger online. But the more we do that, the more lost we become. True fulfillment can never come from external sources. It comes from within, from reconnecting with the core of who we are and what truly matters to us. Yet, this is where society has failed us. We've been so focused on external success, money, fame, status, that we've neglected the one thing that truly sustains us, our inner world. We've built systems that reward superficiality and ignore authenticity. We've been taught that emotional well-being is secondary to financial gain, and we've seen firsthand how this leads to mental health crises. People are drowning in anxiety, depression, and loneliness, despite living in a world of endless connectivity. What if we shifted our focus, not to more things, but to more depth? What if we valued connection over consumption? The world is full of distractions, but the ones who are truly awake are the ones who know how to separate the noise from the signal. They're the ones who understand that deep, lasting fulfillment doesn't come from an Instagram post or a paycheck. It comes from aligning our actions with our true purpose, from understanding our emotions, and from connecting with the people and experiences that add real meaning to our lives. But here's the problem. Our current society doesn't encourage this type of self-reflection. We're not taught to look within, to ask ourselves hard questions, to explore our own emotions. Instead, we're encouraged to numb ourselves through consumption. And in doing so, we lose touch with who we truly are. We need to reclaim our sense of self, to rediscover the depths of our emotions, to embrace our full humanity. This isn't just a personal journey, it's a social imperative. Our future depends on it. Emotional health is not something that can be outsourced or manufactured. It's not something you can buy in a store or find in a quick fix. True emotional growth requires time, introspection, and the courage to face difficult truths about ourselves and the world around us. The sooner we acknowledge this, the sooner we can begin to heal, not just individually, but collectively. What does it mean to be emotionally healthy in a world that is constantly pushing us to ignore our feelings, suppress our pain, and chase after empty success? It means reconnecting with our inner selves, rediscovering the wisdom that lies within, and taking the time to truly listen to what our emotions are telling us. The truth is, we live in a world that thrives on making us feel inadequate, making us believe that we are not enough unless we achieve certain milestones. But this is a lie. We've been conditioned to think that more is always better, more wealth, more followers, more likes, more status. But this pursuit of more has left us feeling more empty than ever before. It has pushed us into a never-ending race where the finish line keeps moving further and further away. And as we chase this illusion, we ignore the emotional toll it's taking on our mental and physical health. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us that we need to be something other than what we are, that we need to change, adapt, or conform. But what if we stopped for a moment and asked ourselves, who am I really, beneath all the noise? There's a reason why so many people struggle with mental health issues today. We are emotionally starved. Our lives are full of distractions, but we lack the nourishment that comes from real human connection and understanding. Emotional hunger is a quiet epidemic, one that we don't talk about enough. Instead, we distract ourselves with things that don't feed us, and we convince ourselves that we are okay, when in reality, we are dying inside. We're disconnected from our feelings, from our bodies, and from the truth of who we are. This emotional starvation is taking its toll on every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our work, and even our health. The social fabric that once bound us together is tearing apart, and it's not just because of political or economic issues. It's because we've forgotten how to connect with each other on a deeper level. Instead of seeking connection, we've turned to technology and consumerism to fill the void. But these things cannot heal us. They cannot replace the deep emotional connections we need to feel truly alive. The truth is, most people are simply too distracted to even notice the emotional void within themselves. They're too busy with the demands of everyday life, too consumed with the pressure to succeed, to stop and ask, what do I really need? The answer isn't more success or more stuff, it's emotional health. It's time to start taking our feelings seriously, to stop seeing them as inconveniences or weaknesses, and instead recognize them for what they truly are, signposts that point us toward a better, more authentic life. This journey toward emotional fulfillment requires courage. It requires us to look within, to confront our fears and uncertainties, and to make space for the emotions we've been taught to ignore. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Because without emotional health, we cannot truly thrive. We cannot truly live. We're not meant to be automatons, going through life on autopilot, disconnected from what truly matters. We are meant to feel, to experience the full spectrum of human emotion, and to learn from it. Healing begins when we stop avoiding our emotions and start embracing them. When we learn to accept ourselves for who we are, not who society tells us to be. When we stop seeking validation from others and start validating ourselves. True freedom lies in emotional authenticity, in the courage to express what we truly feel, and in the commitment to live a life that reflects our deepest values. But this journey toward emotional health is not something we can embark on alone. We need a community that supports us, a group of people who are willing to listen, share, and grow together. Yet, in our modern society, we've become more isolated than ever. Social media has promised connection, but in reality it has often left us feeling more disconnected. The superficial interactions we have online cannot replace the depth of real human connection. We need to start creating spaces where people can talk openly about their struggles, their pain, and their emotions without fear of judgment. It's time to normalize emotional expression, to stop pretending that everything is okay when it's not. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a sign of strength. In a world that teaches us to put on masks and hide our true selves, the most radical thing we can do is be open, honest, and real about how we're feeling. This is where true change begins, when we are willing to speak the truth about our emotional needs and start taking action to address them. It's not just about having a good job or a successful career. It's about finding fulfillment in every aspect of our lives, including our emotional well-being. It's about creating a culture that values emotional intelligence as much as intellectual or financial success. Think about it. We spend so much time and energy developing our careers, acquiring knowledge, and seeking success in the material world. But how much time do we spend working on our emotional health? How many of us are actively trying to understand our feelings, to process our emotions, to build emotional resilience? In a society that prioritizes productivity over well-being, it's easy to overlook the importance of emotional care. But here's the catch: without emotional health, everything else falls apart. No amount of money or success can compensate for a lack of emotional fulfillment. People who are emotionally healthy are more productive, more creative, and more compassionate. They are better equipped to handle challenges and navigate the complexities of life. Emotional health is the foundation of a successful life, and yet, it's the one thing most of us neglect. It's time to start seeing emotional health as just as important as physical health. We go to the gym to strengthen our bodies, but we need to do the same for our minds and hearts. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and pampering. It's about confronting our emotions, dealing with the pain we've been carrying, and learning how to cope in healthy ways. It's about understanding that emotional wounds need to be healed just like physical wounds, and that we can't keep pretending they're not there. We need to reclaim our emotional lives. We need to stop letting society dictate how we should feel and start listening to ourselves. The key to true happiness lies in emotional authenticity and well-being. When we prioritize emotional health, we unlock a deeper sense of fulfillment and a more meaningful connection to others. As we move forward, it's essential to recognize that emotional growth is not linear. We will face setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when it feels like we're moving backwards. But these challenges are not signs of failure, they are opportunities for growth. Every step, no matter how small, brings us closer to understanding ourselves better and achieving emotional well-being. Emotional resilience isn't about never falling down, it's about learning how to get back up and keep moving forward. One of the biggest obstacles to emotional health is the way society pushes us to bottle up our emotions. From a young age, we're taught that certain feelings are unacceptable. Anger is bad, sadness is weak, and vulnerability is a sign of incompetence. This toxic mindset makes it difficult for people to express themselves authentically, leading to frustration, depression, and anxiety. But we have to break this cycle. We need to stop punishing ourselves for feeling deeply and start accepting our emotions as part of being human. It's time to challenge the social norms that tell us we must suppress our feelings in order to be successful, to be tough. Emotional expression is not a flaw, it is a fundamental part of the human experience. And the more we allow ourselves to feel, the more we can heal. This brings us to another crucial point: the importance of self-compassion. Too often, we are our harshest critics, believing that we don't deserve the same kindness and understanding that we show others. We tell ourselves that we should be stronger, better, or smarter, but these unrealistic expectations only create more stress and anxiety. In order to grow emotionally, we must learn to be kind to ourselves. This means allowing ourselves to make mistakes, to feel vulnerable, and to give ourselves the space to heal. In our pursuit of emotional health, we also need to learn how to set boundaries. It's okay to say no, to protect our energy, and to prioritize our mental and emotional well-being. In a culture that often values people-pleasing and self-sacrifice, it's essential to remember that we cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of ourselves is not selfish, it's necessary for our emotional survival. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, and they allow us to engage with others in healthier, more meaningful ways. Another critical aspect of emotional growth is learning how to manage our expectations. We live in a world that promotes instant gratification, where everything is expected to happen quickly and easily. But emotional growth is a long-term process. It requires patience, persistence, and an acceptance of setbacks. If we constantly expect ourselves to be perfect or to achieve emotional wellness overnight, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, we must learn to embrace the journey, knowing that every step, every struggle, and every victory is part of our personal evolution. To truly achieve emotional well-being, we must also consider the impact of external influences. We live in a society that often prioritizes productivity over personal well-being. From work pressures to social media comparisons, the constant bombardment of external expectations can undermine our emotional health. The more we allow ourselves to be consumed by external standards, the further we drift from our authentic selves. To break free from this cycle, we need to become more mindful of our environment and the people we allow into our lives. It's essential to cultivate relationships that uplift and support us, not drain or manipulate us. Healthy relationships are a cornerstone of emotional health, and we must surround ourselves with individuals who respect our boundaries, encourage our growth, and accept us as we are. But it's not just about who we associate with, it's also about how we relate to the world around us. Are we constantly chasing external validation? Are we defining our self-worth based on others' approval? These questions are crucial to understanding how we may be sacrificing our emotional health in the pursuit of external recognition. As we shift our mindset, we must remember that emotional well-being isn't something that can be achieved through a quick fix or a single strategy. It's an ongoing process of growth, understanding, and self-acceptance. There will be good days and bad days, but the key is to keep moving forward with compassion, resilience, and an open heart. In conclusion, emotional health is not about achieving perfection, it's about embracing the journey. It's about learning to navigate life's challenges with grace and understanding, and giving ourselves the permission to feel deeply, to express ourselves authentically, and to prioritize our emotional well-being. We have the power to reshape our relationship with ourselves and the world around us, and in doing so, create a healthier, more fulfilling life.